Hello? Sorry, I have to make everything really hard for myself. Okay, hi. This is a short story thing called The Two of Them. The two of them are sleeping together. He's got both of her legs around his waist and is beginning to mumble things he has no ability to control. She keeps making these soft sounds like a dove, and the neighbors can probably hear every sway and shift in the bedroom. And just as he's about to climax, with eyes closed and brows lifted, lips parted to gasp, he starts to think about the woman from work. The young one, with the small wrists and the perfect mouth, always with a look on her face like she's empty and easy and needs to be told what to do. And he starts to feel angry when he thinks about how this woman, the one he's committed to, isn't anything like the woman from work. How this woman makes the word vanilla seem like an exotic and sexually distant star. He's making up things in his head about what he would do to the woman from work. About the woman's necklace, a silver cross which she absolutely puts between her lips to suck on at her desk. About how he'd bend her tiny body over the photocopier, and later, she'd be fired for the 76 unrecycled pages left in the machine with their vague prints of a blurred neck and open mouth, recognizable only by their pigmentless crucifix blown bright white against the scammer's glass. He thinks about how he doesn't even want to love, let alone does he love anyone. About how there's no longer any way for him to remain a person that is faithful if this is what he thinks about during sex. Right now, and in this moment, there doesn't seem to be anything more right, more moral in this world than to tell the woman he's committed to that it's over. He starts to think about the woman from work again, about her throat flushed pink from his squeezing hands, and there he is, giving it as hard as he's allowed to, in bed with a woman he's just realized he doesn't even care about, when he turns his head to moan or groan, and he says the wrong name. And oh God, is he sorry. The man sits up and back onto his ankles and puts his hands over his face. He shakes his head back and forth like a burning dog, trying to manage enough I'm sorry's to make up for this thing he just did. But it's strange, because she just sits up and scoots her back to the wall and looks at him, more concerned than angry, and like nothing in their world has changed. He gets up and drags the sheet with him, knots it above his hips, then puts both hands on the open bedroom door's frame. She gets up from the bed, wearing nothing, and wraps her arms around him and says that it's fine, it's just fine. She smiles and kisses his neck, and he starts to think long and hard about the mistake he's just made. I'm so sorry, he says. But what happens is she says she liked it. She liked hearing him say someone else's name, and for a minute, there was nothing more pleasurable than having him inside her while he was thinking of someone else. And what she says next, about what she's wanted but has been unable to ask for, makes him feel differently about words like used. He thinks maybe it could work out. All that thinking about the woman at work, he doesn't have to feel bad about it anymore. The allure of being alone to do whatever he wants with whoever he wants suddenly disappears when he realizes that this woman wants all of it. He asks her what she meant. And it's okay, she says. She means every word. There's something about him wanting something so badly, about how to him she's not a person anymore, but an object serving the purpose of his satisfaction. She says it makes the inside of her head feel hot and small and dizzy. They lie on the carpeted floor together, and she speaks quiet and warm into his ear. And the wet click of her lips is like insects, and he thinks, maybe I'll remain faithful after all. The whole rush of sleeping with the woman from work has flown high in his mind. It can now, finally, level out. It goes on like this for months. Whenever they sleep together, he says the name of the woman from work, and she likes it. And the funny thing is, it starts to lose a lot of its original levity. In the middle of sex, he'll say the woman from work's name, and she'll pull him deeper inside her, trying to breach a threshold of satisfaction that seems infinitely elastic. And the sound of need she makes, like an addict or a spoiled child, that would normally be so pleasing, suddenly makes a ringing in his ears that he has never experienced until now. What does it mean if he has to say someone else's name? Why can't she just enjoy it like they used to? Why does it have to be so complicated now? He tries to say the right name, tries to slow down and nuzzle with the bridge of his nose the warm and delicate depression at her throat's beginning. But when they're together, she makes him say the name. He goes to work and he sees the woman whose name he has come to despise the rhythm of. And when she smiles within her states of happy absence, the cold silver cross falls from her lips into the shady open top of her blouse, and now he doesn't even care. The whole thing is wrong. It's deranged. And when he goes back home to make love to the one he makes love to, whenever she asks him to say the other name, he does. And it makes him sick. It makes him sick to say, and each time he says it less during sex. She wonders what's wrong, and he looks at her and says everything is okay. It's okay, he says, but it doesn't feel right to say someone else's name. And she frowns. There's a lot of arguing after that. Sometimes they try to make love on the carpet of the bedroom, or they rent a cheap hotel and take the day off from work, but he can't feel anything about it anymore. Each time, he tries to give her what she needs now more than ever, but he can't. And her chin's soft topography dimples as she frowns in the dark. He just rolls over exhausted and goes to sleep. And she looks over at him, his shoulder a twilight mound beyond the clock's blue glow. The only time he can make love to her at all is when he says her real name, when he tells her that he loves her, and when he says that he's sorry he's ever started this. And soon, she's begging him to say the other name, the name of the woman from work. She says she can't get off without it, but he just can't say it, and she looks off into nowhere until he's done. And finally, one night, in the middle of it, he feels himself gliding into her with liquid ease, and he almost laughs at their messy coupling, and he begins, finally, to feel better about it all. And just as she bares her teeth to fight the feeling that she's coiling every knowable pleasure inside herself, just as the focus of his entire being begins to recede, tide-like, from his body's edges into an unknowable bottom deep within his swollen core, she says it. She bellows one word, a man's name, a name he does not recognize, over and over and over. And afterwards, as she trembles, lost somewhere inside herself to a satisfaction more pure and full than he has ever known, he asks her, "How could you?"